It's been 2 days of intense hockey and we are finally at day 3. Good evening from UKZN Astro. I'm joined by the present South African under-21 coach Rob van Kinkel. Rob, welcome.
Yeah, thanks very much. Looking forward to this.
And as we can see on the screen, the team's busy warming up before the game. Lots of noise, lots of excitement. For a lot of these players, they're not going to be playing an international game for a while, so they're going to put everything on the line today.
Yeah, this is special. I mean, we don't get a lot of opportunities to play international games in South Africa, and for these under-18 girls, this is really special.
Robin, just a quick chat as the under-20. Before we carry on, let's just listen to the anthems. And there we have it, ladies and gents, anthems from both teams. It's always a proud moment to stand just before you're about to play a game for your country to sing that national anthem. Robin, we were just chatting before. I mean, not many opportunities. You were saying that to have this international exposure and having one more game like this, it must be pretty special for these players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you work your whole school career and the pinnacle is making an SA under-21 team, and actually playing in your country's colours for an international game is really special. So 2 years ago, Australia were here, and these girls are really fortunate to get a game tonight and play for their country.
Just something to add that we forgot to mention, Robin was the SA under-18 girls coach 2 years ago in Pretoria. Robin, also, you've now moved to the under-21 setup. You have one or two of the girls in the side at the moment, but this is obviously something important for you as a coach going forward, to know that in the next few years, a fair portion of these girls will probably be under your wing in the under-21 setup.
Yeah, it's really important, and also it's really difficult to gauge players only from IPTs, and you can actually see their character and what they're doing playing international hockey. So this gives them a great platform, and I think going forward there's definitely some of these players that are going to play a big role within the under-21 system.
Yeah, we are about a few seconds, well, it should be 3 minutes away, but we're a few seconds away from pushback. As we've noted, South Africa won the first two. tests, and this is the third one. Some people will say that they're playing for pride, but I think they're playing for a lot more than pride. Whenever you put that jersey on, you're playing as intense and as hard as you can, and that's definitely something that's going to happen today. I don't think any team is going to leave anything out there for the next 70 minutes of hockey.
Yes, Jay, have you ever seen a South African team play easily against Australia?
I don't think we've been in any sport, whether it be rugby, cricket, or even hockey for that matter.
No, you're right. This is an important game for South Africa, and to stay clinical and stick to the game plan and play correctly and really finish the series off well is important for us. And no doubt the Australians want to win before they go home. So I think this is going to be a really good game.
So we're a few seconds in. Australia on the attack, and South Africa just winning it on the right-hand side. They'll have a nice sideline hit. Just a reminder, you can engage with us on Twitter, on any of the social medias. Please use hashtag SSL Hockey. We've been getting some really, really good and special messages from all over the world. Canada, Ireland, Belgium, a few from the Netherlands, New Zealand, as well as obviously a lot of Australian supporters. So thank you. Keep sending in those messages. We'll read them live, and we'll also have our on-field presenter reading them to the players throughout the day. So keep them coming as we move forward during this game.
See Australia playing 4 at the back. There's an outlet, and South Africa with a nice high aggressive press. And let's see what happens.
Simkita Weston winning the ball. Number 5, Talisha Kenton trying to clear off Julia Hall on the ball at the moment. South Africa looking just to gain a little bit of momentum as they get used to and get comfortable in this game as quickly as possible. And that's Grace Young. Grace Young we've mentioned a lot during the last couple of days. She's been playing in midfield. She's been winning a lot of balls. She's been creating a lot of impetus going forward for the Australian team, and you can already see on the attack, and she's the one on the ball.
Yeah, she's had a phenomenal series. She's the playmaker and really the engine room of the Australian side.
You see Lianna Smith on the ball, also known as Angie. Australia now looking to move the ball around with Naomi Duncan. The ball lifted dangerously, and South Africa now has a chance to relieve the pressure.
Australia also implementing a full press. I think both teams aren't going to leave anything out there tonight and try and put the opposition under maximum pressure.
Robin, in the time that you've coached and been involved with senior sides, is that a general tendency from all Australian teams when you play against them? They want to put the teams...
That's dead.
Oh well, we can chill for a little bit. Can't talk.
Must be another crash.
Sides. Is that a general tendency from all Australian teams when you play against them? They want to put the teams...
Yeah, commentary's gone.
Oh, no, yeah. Right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can hear, we have lost coverage. I lost our visuals on the side. We'll be commentating from a distance, so please forgive us if we do get names wrong, or if we do get anything else wrong. We've just lost some footage, but we'll call it as we see it. Let's just carry on talking about what we were mentioning about the Australian teams. Is that a tendency again that we've noticed before?
Definitely. Australia have always been an aggressive pressing country, men and women's hockey. They like full press. They like putting the opposition under maximum pressure. And if you look at their conditioning and the way they are in international hockey, they definitely plan to be the most attacking and dominant team on the field.
Yeah, I think we've noticed that a lot going forward, and the Australians generally, as Australia with Ruby Harris driving into the circle, South Africa winning the ball, with them, I think we've noticed it a lot, and again, I think that's why the Australian girls side would be a little bit disappointed, considering that they've put South Africa under lots and lots of pressure for the last 2 tests, and unfortunately just haven't converted.
Yeah, I think that's the story of hockey. The game's won and lost in the 2 circles, and South Africa have taken some really good chances through Bianca and Edith last night, and Australia have had lots of opportunities with PCs and field goals and just not converted. So tonight, if they take some chances, I think it'll be really close. But South Africa on the attack here, ball flung into the circle a little bit dangerously. And yes, if Australia take their chances, I think they could get a result. South Africa need to be defensively good tonight, make sure they're marking nice and tightly, and take their chances.
And if you look at it from the start of this game already, Australia looking to hold on to possession, trying to move forward through their midfield as they've done throughout the week. They haven't really done much wrong in that area of the game. They have had moments here and there where the South African attackers have put them under pressure, but they've definitely looked very, very structured, and they know exactly what they're doing up until that point. It's just unfortunately the case that they haven't been able to put those away. But today they're definitely looking energetic. They were very, very loud in the warm-up. And here we receive a ball. Annika Tui receiving it in the corner. Again, a player who scored the very first goal of the tournament, been a live wire up front and been a difficult forward for the South Africans to deal with. And today you can again see from the formation, from their press going up front, looking to put them under pressure and win the ball straight away, and exactly what they've done. And now we see Julia Hall receiving the ball up front. Into the circle. Oh, and just missed. Again, that's the one over it again. If we're looking defensively, that's something that Australia will need to have to clean up if they don't want to give the fast African attackers space today.
Yeah, I think after 3 games, Australia should realise that they've got a really good high ball out the back. South Africa using it to good use there. I think such a high press. If you can get the ball over their press, you will always have a foot race and a one-on-one battle. And that's a really clever tactic from Lianna Smith there to use the space behind. And well done to the girls for implementing that outlet. I think Australia are going to keep the pressure, and we just need to be wise with our one-on-one attack and use that as an advantage. Yeah,
and I think most of the time the South Africans in these cases are looking to try and move forward as quickly as they can, and they, as you can see today already, Australia again putting them under a lot of pressure, moving ball forward, and South Africa trying to win those balls and trying to get the ball to their forwards as quickly as possible. We've got Untitled in front, Bianca Wood, who scored the 2 goals in the opening game, as well as Julia Hall, who was a little bit quiet in the first game, but already she's caused a bit of problems on the counter attack, and that's something that, like you say, is something that South Africa will look towards going forward, and putting South Africa under a lot of, or putting Australia under a lot of pressure going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, here we go. Win the ball in the midfield again. I'd like to see some linking up here. I think it's too direct. We need to pass the ball around a little bit more. But a good turnover again. And this is where Australia need to set up really early and do a good job in cover defense.
Amara Hendricks on the ball, finding India Hardy in the bottom left corner. India Hardy looking to try and burst into that circle. And good cover defense there by Jade Smith, the girl from Queensland, covering and defending.
As I don't know if you noticed, but Australia also makes substitutions really quickly. And it's a different plan of theirs to try and keep the intensity as high as possible. They've got really good depth within their squad, and they roll the bench really quickly compared to South Africa, which maybe does it a little bit slower, and obviously different tactics within the coach's strategy.
I think if we look at it going from the first game, I think the idea with that, and I think you would give some more input on this. The legs running forward over a couple of days of playing quite high intense hockey, you're going to try and even out that pressure throughout the week. I had a squiz at the bench during some of the games, and there's a clear set out strategy by the Australian coach to get the substitute. As we're talking, Kayla Duval moving inside the circle, finding the foot, and it's the first penalty corner with 10 minutes. Just under 10 minutes into the game, Kayla Duval, who was man of the match last night, finding the foot in the first penalty corner to South Africa. Just to add to that, I saw that they've got a clear mapped out structure from start to finish of how they're going to do this. I think, again, if you look at the Australian setup, they've got lots of depth. In cases like this, where it comes towards the end of the game, you want the players as fresh as possible. And I agree with you that rolling like that, the intensity is high all the time. Angie Wellham on the top. And
really well executed short corner there. Slapped wide by Edith for the deflection and just missing, but a really, really well worked short corner.
Coming in, you're going to see two runners on the far post looking for that little deflection behind the postman, and just Kayla Duval again, just not getting a touch on towards goal.
It's good to see South Africa putting some pressure on Australia down there. Again, Kayla on the ball, and she's a live wire and really, really injects some intensity into the SA side.
Again, we talk about those players that can make differences in the game. We mentioned Grace Young earlier, who has definitely had a really, really good week. Kayla Duval's another player, and it's those players in situations like this, in the last game of a series, you want those players to be stepping up. And those are your natural playmakers going forward. And yeah, we spoke about Kayla Duval again. She's on the ball.
Yeah, it's great to see her looking for a pass there and mixing it up between really taking them on and moving the ball. That's a nice direct ball. South Africa almost get onto the end of it, and now we'll have to go back and press.
Naomi Duncan again finding herself in a good space to move the ball. Again, there's lots of substitutions rolling for the Australian team on the side. They've got to clear out clear structure of exactly who goes on when. And again, like we said, keeping that intensity high and making sure that the legs are fresh and rolling at that good high anaerobic level that you want from those players. Apologies early, ladies and gentlemen. There was a little break in communication. We lost some power at the venue, and the lights are slowly coming back on, as well as all the footage. So thank you very much, and bear with us for that. But so far so good. Everything is going well, and you are watching again South Africa versus Australia under 18 girls. It is the last match, and as you can see, you'll see a lot of intensity. Players have had. For South African players, have led about two weeks of hard hockey. The South African team was selected, and Amara Hendricks hitting the ball away, and she's receiving a green card. Here we see some messages coming in. Go Fran, make us proud. Hashtag SA, hashtag number 11. Brian Haig again, best of luck to the SA ladies. Make it a 3-0 whitewash. Thank you, Brian Haig. Brian Haig, South African living in Canada. Thank you very much for your message and for your support. Again, Samantha Smuts picking up the ball. Angie Wellham now receiving it under pressure again from the Australians. You can see they're hunting packs.
Good turnover from Australia there. As nice and patient on defense, and South Africa just need to play the mini game there and be a little bit cautious on not giving the ball away in dangerous areas. That's well done, well defended ultimately. And again, we look for the high ball and the counter attack. So clear strategy from Lenice this evening to try and catch them on the breakaway.
I think something also that's been quite evident is that it's not been the same style for all three games. I think both coaches have been trying very proactive in changing the way they're playing, knowing that they've got to change it for whatever victory, during the game. And it's good to see that we've seen differences throughout patches throughout the game. We've seen differences at halftime. Here we see it's Abby O'Brien coming to the circle again. Got India Draper with a little bit of turn and winning Australia's first penalty corner for the game. Something that they've definitely wanted to work on throughout the 3 days. They had a few in the first game, a few in the second game. Definitely a chance now with a man down, South Africa with a man down. There we see the counter-attack. Keeper making the save. Angie Wellham, unfortunately not being able to clear, and a little inside pull and onto the foot. And India Draping winning the penalty corner. Yeah,
this is where Australia have let themselves down. I think when they have opportunities, they need to score. Let's see, good push again, not trapped correctly on the top of the circle. Do the South African defenders manage it? First ball lifted high, and South Africa get out of jail. Well defended there by Edith. And going back to your point there, I think because you only play such a few international games, as a coach you want to try and see what works at international level. And Australia have come for the 3 games, so you would change it, you would try some different things, stick with what you know at certain points when you're under pressure. But great to see Lanice and the girls trying some different game plans and really executing it well so far in the first 2 games.
I think also something that is noted is Lanice was your assistant coach 2 years ago. I think she has taken a lot of that experience as well as international experience for herself, playing a fair number of matches in the South African national side. So we've spoken about this at length in both teams. There's a lot of experience from both sides that teams can draw on through this. So I think as an under-18 group from both sides, some under-17s in the Australian side, they really are being looked after. Ball comes into the circle, and a good clearance there by Catherine Dowling. In the right area at the right time. But again, some scrappy moments inside the circle there for the Australian defence.
Yeah, although I think that was well managed. They were man-marking a little bit better there. The beauty about South Africa, if we've really got some strikers that just latch onto anything, the ball's just popping up for them, they will get onto it. So especially someone like Bianca Wood, definite eye for the goal. And Australia are going to need to be careful with those balls that are just floated into the circle.
Umpire's blown a ball overhead, was lifted dangerously past the player, so free to South Africa high into that right-hand channel. Kayla Duval making sure that ball's got to move 5 before it enters the circle. Again, lots of pressure there from Nasa Flynn in that high corner for South Africa. It's a wonderful tackle by Lianna Smith, or Angie as she's known by the rest of her teammates. Grace Young on the ball. A good track back from Angela Wellham there.
That's great recovery defense there, and that's important. You know, the forwards that can come back and add value in defense really helps the team defensively and sets up that attitude that there's always pressure on the ball.
And again, as you can see, there's lots of rotations. South Africa also doing quite a bit of rotations on the field, because today is where the legs are really going to be tired. They've had some. It's not just been 3 dull games. It's been 3, or so far 3 very exciting games, and games where a lot of leg work was needed by all the teams. But then again, that's nothing normal for an international game between 2 teams like South Africa and Australia.
Yep, absolutely. I think mentally South Africa and Australia are both very attacking-minded countries, and absolutely, the longer the legs last, I think that team's going to come out on top today.
We see Samantha Smuts on the left-hand channel.
Nice direct ball in. Again, Kayla on the ball, trying to work a little short corner. Can she complete a pass there? Oh, she's still got the ball. She's done well. Tap in. Oh, really close. Good body positioning in the circle there, and just not able to put it in.
And there Australia go looking for that counter-attack. Here we see Kayla Duval working with the ball down that left-hand baseline. Julia Hull waiting on that far post. Some good defense, good recovery back onto her feet. Ball across. As you can see, it just rolls onto Julia Hull's foot before she's about to put it into the goal box.
Oh, here we go, another counter-attack. Not a good outlet from Australia. And now this is where we need to complete a pass and try and link up a little bit more. So we're quite direct, but it's all one-on-one battles. And I think if South Africa can find an extra pass there, they'll be really, really difficult to manage in the circle.
So Rob, just on that situation, where would you ideally like that pass to go? I mean, obviously you want it probably in that area most direct, but in judging that situation?
So I think the forward on the help side needs to come across and try and link up a little bit more. Obviously the most dangerous pass is top circle, and if we can find someone there, would be really difficult to defend. And second prize, if you can't go through the top of the circle, into the baseline like Kayla just did there, and try and win something with the defenders. But I think the decision between the build-up and the counter is really important, you know, and you got to mix it up. You can't always counter, and sometimes we just need to be a little bit more patient, and when the counter is there, absolutely go for it. And
now moving from these players who've played in provincial level now into international level, those type of moments are moments that you want to convert into goal scoring opportunities or penalty corners, and you know as well as international coach that those that teams like Australia, when they are pressing really high, are wanting to capitalize.
Yeah.
As we
Sorry. So as you rightly point out there, you know, you need to take those moments, and decision making is really important. So again, these girls haven't maybe been put under this kind of pressure, and the players that make the decisions early and the right decisions early are the ones that will definitely come through.
There again we see Australia with a nice flowing move down the left-hand side, back across the upper side, and unfortunately a dangerously lifted ball towards the South African circle. South Africa can try and clear the pressure. Australia now on the ball, looking for the right half to come on the overlap.
Another overhead used by South Africa to get over the press. Really, really effective. And now it's a 2v1 in the circle. Straight strike. Oh, misses the target, but a really, really, really good overhead. And that's a good example there of a good counter-attack opportunity.
And again, the second overhead that's gone to a South African player that the Australian team has not dealt with. India Harding received the ball in good space. Jean-Lee de Toy from Gaasfontein with a great overhead to India. India finding open space. She identifies straight away she needs to take the shot, and unfortunately shot off target. I think India's coach at Herschel, Cindy Botha, former national player, would obviously expect a little bit more. But again, it's those opportunities you were talking about of taking them when they arrive.
Yeah, Cindy Brown.
Cindy Brown, sorry, I apologize.
And what really I noticed there is her flip skills. You know, she got the ball in the air, some three-dimensional skills, and that really gave her the opportunity to attack the top of the circle. Lovely play, great skills, and let's hope next time she can hit the target.
South Africa trying to drive down the right-hand baseline. It's again Ruby Harris, who's been all over the field, working really hard in attack and defense for the Australian side. Bit of a loose pass. Africa will probably want to up that ball intensity for the rest of the game.
I like the way that South Africa are trying to hold on to the ball a little bit there, looking for a deadly pass, get away with it with an Australian foot. Here goes Edith. She's always exciting. Hope she can complete the pass. Yes. Really close there, and I think that's what's letting South Africa down tonight, is that we're getting really good circle entries and not converting the outcomes into a short corner or shot on target.
Yeah, and South Africa's definitely had the clear-cut opportunity so far in the game. Amara Hendricks with a little bit of a clumsy challenge there, breaking the play down. Sue Ol, who's been sending us many messages this week. Thank you very much. Go Gracie, great defense. Referring to Gracie Geddes there. Sally Masala, who's also been sending us messages. Edith is my favorite player. Good luck to both Aussies and SA. Both teams are packed with an enormous amount of talent. We agree with you. There's really some of these players we're going to be seeing playing at World Cups and Olympics good few years' time. Rod Tansey, Mentone Hockey Club. We're super proud of our two young stars, Gracie Geddes, number 16, and Abby O'Brien, number 17, as they perform on an international stage. Thank you, Rod. I'm sure Mentone Hockey Club are glad to have those two players playing for their club. Reminder, ladies and gentlemen, it's hashtag SSL Hockey. Keep engaging with us. We'll send these messages through. Unfortunately, Brittany De Silva going in for the tackle, and Untatili unfortunately falling over. Glad to see that Brittany De Silva is fine now. She's well. Just a small little altercation on the side. And again, Brittany Silva back on her feet and getting stuck in to make tackles again. Great to see. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, we still have a boys' game later this evening, but these games are being played at the moment. The iWise Hockey Nationals Under-16 tournament is happening at the same time. The Under-18 tournament happened a couple of weeks ago. All the tournaments are happening, boys and girls together, in the same venue in Pietermaritzburg. So most of the spectators that you'll see along the side, and the crowds are starting to fill up. They're finishing their games and coming to watch these games, will be under-16 players that are playing in the national tournament. Rob is smiling next door to me here because he's under-16 Southern Gauteng team just knocked out defending champions Western Province. He's got a big smile on his face because tomorrow he gets to play for the national title. So from that side, well done, Robin. Again, another overhead being played into the circle. Robin, let's just chat about that quickly. I mean, the players that you have at the moment are going to form part of the under-18 South African team that will hopefully play in 2 years' time against Australia, hoping that Australia will be back to continue the tradition. That must be something that the kids sitting on the side of the field must be really excited about, especially watching it at this stage.
Yeah, and that's what I said. It's the cherry on the cake and what you work hard for. So the under-16s of this year and a really talented group of players will be the ones that are playing on the big stage in 2 years' time if they keep going and keep working hard and get to the SA level. But really exciting. This tournament's been phenomenal. I mean, you mentioned hour-wise, but they've branded every field. It looks phenomenal. The players are all playing in a stadium feel, which has just been phenomenal and something that South Africa hasn't had before.
Yeah, so we thank you to Old Mutual Iowa for adding to making this a special occasion for all players, coaches, umpires, officials and parents. We've been having a lot of parents that saying this is one of the best IPTs or hockey national tournaments that they've been to. So we thank you to Old Mutual Iowa for their contribution to not only the national tournaments but also to the national sides. And there we see Kayla Duval winning the ball in midfield again on Tatile Zulu.
Auntie Tile, or Tati as they know her, also really quick, really electrifying, and definitely one of the players to look forward to watching in the future.
Just want to check if there are any Australian supporters in the crowd here.
We've got 10 minutes to go, ladies and gents. 10 minutes, and there's a few tired legs on that field. I can see a lot of players breathing deeply. It's only been 3 days, but it's been a long 3 days.
What we don't see is all the training and the preparation and the team meetings, and it's draining emotionally, mentally, and obviously physically on the field. So the teams have to fight nice and hard and see what they can do. There's a good ball in and great defense from South Africa there. Lovely body positioning and really just covering that hotline.
But again, we see a very, very smooth flowing counter-attack. It started way back with Jade Smith winning the ball on the other side. And again, here we see that's Tatum Stewart that has won the ball in the far side. Good tackle by Samantha Smuts. Again, we see that free-flowing time called again. Unfortunately, a player down. And we were talking about that free-flowing counter-attacking moves, and there we saw it. 1-2 passes, and Australia found themselves in their attacking third.
Yeah, Australia always, as they give maximum pressure in their press, but they also love playing the two-touch hockey. So very seldom you'll see someone trying to engage a lot of players. They look for those passes, they try to bring people through, and they always try and attack with numbers, just like they try to defend with numbers, and a definite trait from Australian teams.
Yeah, see, just having a look at that conversation that we see on the screen there. What do you think will be mentioned in this conversation?
Yeah, I think they obviously trying to just make sure they're sticking to the game plan. Maybe trying to problem solve one or two small things. Maybe even just saying this break is well needed. But they, yeah, I'm sure will just try and get a couple of things right. Good time to score just before half time. And I think they're in good position to put pressure on South Africa here.
I'm not too sure, but I think it was Brittany De Silva that went down, clutching her shoulder on the other side. The physio is with her, and we hope that she has not injured herself too badly, that she can at least take part in the rest of the game. But we hope things are well. But she's being looked after well by the rest of the team. We wish her a quick recovery so that she can be back on the field with her teammates.
Yeah, never nice seeing someone go down with an injury. Hope she can return to the game a little bit later. The magic ice spray.
Yeah, we hope that magic ice spray works now. Australia with the ball now in midfield, looking to build up something.
Nice and wide to try and attack. They're very direct again. And South Africa managed... Oh, no, that ball didn't go out. Oh, poor marking.
Nasa Flynn winning the ball. We thought that ball went out, but she kept it in and then put a dangerous ball across, which should have been dealt with. And we say Nasa Flynn, South Africa just standing with their sticks up. And Nasa energetic gets that ball across. And
yeah, not good body positioning from the South Africans. They're all standing and watching, and I think those sticks need to be on the floor. They need to be ready for a ball flung across there. And Australia had a goal open on the far post who just couldn't manage to control it. So I think South Africa might have got out of jail there.
Count themselves lucky in that moment. We're about 8 minutes away from half time. Now South Africa with the ball. India Hardy winning it again. Hitting the foot. An advantage played by the umpire. Again, a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, South Africa won the first one 2-1. Yesterday then won 3-1. And we definitely looking at a really, really exciting second half. Again, Lianna Smith driving down that left-hand side. She's also got the ball quite a bit today, and also you can see there's a bit of intent in that face. She's got a real look about, a real assertive look about her playing today, and she's in midfield added definitely won free. It's quite a bit in that midfield left-hand channel on the side of the field.
Yeah, I think international hockey is all about that midfield battle. And if you get on top over there, you set your team up, and that's where your platform goes from. So, again, here we go with Kayla winning that midfield battle. And this is where she needs to link up. Great turn, fires the ball through. Couldn't get a touch. But, again, really direct from South Africa, and it seems to be working. Australia needs someone on that goal line and hotline. And as long as there's no one there, I think South Africa can be a little bit more daring and go for that.
If we have a look at it now, I think Australia's going back to a back three with those two shields, blockers, whatever pivots that words around that's used around the world. Let's quickly talk about attacking-wise. You've obviously got more midfield options, but you also got to worry defensively that those two midfielders will then have to work back a little bit more.
Yeah, so I think one of those two screens that you're talking about. One of them have to be designated as a defender, and traditionally maybe your free centre back. Sorry, maybe your free centre back. So you're right. You need to defend with 5 and attack with 5, and they do have a defensive role to play. Australia obviously opting for the back 3 to maybe try and get some more go forward just before half time and see what they can do. South Africa are really putting good pressure here. Try fire another one in there, and this is where Australia are looking to try and break out a little bit.
Bit of a hand on the back there by Kayla Devar, and Ruby Harris taking the ball over the halfway line. Again, some Ruby Harris caused a lot of problems in the first game, again causing problems for the South Africans here. Winning the free hit, advantage playing by the umpire, and unfortunately lifting it dangerously into India Draper just inside the circle. And we see Abby O'Brien. We had a message from Abby O'Brien's brother. He was up early watching Abby play. So that was it was really special to see the brothers and various other sisters and family members sitting up late in Australia. So to Australian supporters that we have around, thank you very much for sitting up in middle of the night, very early mornings to watch your family members, your friends, your schoolmates playing. And I'm sure the Australian team values that quite a lot. Send us your messages, send us your pictures of where you're watching from. We had a few messages of people sitting on a couch in New Zealand watching. Here we go. Lianna with the ball. Shot. Coming off a South African sick, and it's a long corner. So keep sending those messages through to us. Let us know where you are, which part of the world you're supporting from.
Yes, some more pressure here from Australia. A long corner set up here. I think South Africa look good with numbers behind the ball. Just need to be careful here and not concede or do anything silly just before half time. Well then by Edith, works it out, tries to complete a pass. Again, South Africa maybe just a little bit rushed there. I think we could play more of a passing game and just calmly work the ball out there. Australia back in possession and looking for that last deadly attack before half-time.
They definitely look the more comfortable on the ball through their back four. I mean, we say that because they are obviously being a little bit more patient, trying to gain a little bit more momentum, where South Africa's going one phase and then going direct from their build-up plays.
Yeah, it could be the game plan. Maybe Lenice wants them to be more direct and see if we can do. But I agree with you. I think sometimes we could be a little bit more patient. appealing for a short corner, no short corner given, and Australia still in possession here, really putting pressure on South Africa, firing the ball to the circles, and do well just to stand their ground and defend it.
Umpire has seen something that she needs to deal with. I think it's Edith that there was a little clumsy stick challenge outside the 25 that she allowed the advantage to carry on and then came back and dealt with it. I mean, they are. It's good that they are being proactive to make sure that they're dealing with those infringements as the game carries on. So it's got Layla Williams on the ball. Again, Bianca Wood's unfortunately losing her footing, but again, some of those nice counter-attacking, those fast forwards that are really just hungry to get that ball.
Yeah, it's exciting. Bianca Wood's always exciting on the ball, and I think when they do link up there, well, here come Australia for another one. Last attack, just
again,
not managed to pass the ball.
Again, it's that Lianna Smith finding herself on the ball, making herself available for the rest of her teammates, and she's really adding some good attacking impetus down that left-hand side and down the middle of the field. Good turnover.
Just giving it away there. Here we go, Australia in a very dangerous position at the moment. South Africa need to mark well in the circle. A shot on goal.
Oh, shot and goal, but umpire deeming that deemed it to hit the back of the stick. But you also notice by looking at that, you'll see the reaction of the ball afterwards. I mean, normally if you've hit it quite sweetly, it's going to come off quite flat, and there was a bit of a little bubble to it, and I think that's also a giveaway for that.
Yeah, agreed. But a good opportunity to score there for Australia, and South Africa back on the other side. Really good counter-attacking hockey.
It was Jacqueline McLaren with a good drive from the 25 of the halfway line and finding Bianca Woods up front. And again, some good defense there by the Australians. Ladies and gents, we are 1 minute and 25 seconds. You would see the clock running out on the screen, but we are 1 minute and 20 seconds. Remember, we had those 2 short stoppages for injury. So we'll have about 1:15 on the clock at the moment. We'll keep you posted as the clock runs down. And South Africa looking to drive down the left side. Australia winning the ball. And again, looking to counter. And again, you can see the intent for this. Is that Grace Young on the ball? And again, we've spoken about Grace quite often. She's always the one looking to pass the ball. Again, winning the free hit. She hasn't done much wrong today, has she?
Yeah, she's a great player in the midfield there, and definitely crucial for Australia just to keep that engine room going and to complete her passes and bring the forwards through to try and do the damage in the circle.
Again, some more pressure by Australia. Clumsy challenge by South Africa, and with 30 seconds to go on the clock, Australia find the penalty corner. And no opportunity better than a score just before, as the clock running down. No better time to go 1-0 ahead.
Yeah, don't really want to see that happen. South Africa are going to have to really defend well here. And again, a good opportunity for Australia to go 1-0 up at half-time. Great save, great first save. Oh. And Australia missed the target on the follow-up rebound. Again, South Africa, really good defense on the first save there. And all tied up at half-time. Yeah,
I think it's both teams have had their fair opportunity. India Draper there, you can see she's slightly disappointed because she had a good opportunity to slot this one in. Here we see the replay. First penalty corner shot coming in. Confident save of the goalkeeper, and India Draper coming in, and one time it was very close from that angle. Looks like it was close, and a little disappointed that she didn't put that on target. But it's difficult to say who would be the more disappointed or even the happier team going in, because both teams have had their fair share of opportunities. Australia being holding on to the ball quite a bit. South Africa relying on a very direct way of playing. Like we said, it's maybe something that Lenice was doing. Who's happier? Who's more upset? Very difficult to say at halftime.
Yeah, I think both teams should be disappointed in what they've done in the attacking circle. There should have definitely been some goals, and I think if the coaches at halftime will probably address that to say, you know, we're doing enough to create some chances, and we need to take care of those and take a little bit more pride in hitting the target.
Jethro Eustace is down on the field with what looks like one of the Australian players. Let's hear what he has to say. South African players, sorry, down on the field.
I'm here with Matt Dewar, the SA boys captain. Matt, series has been quite exciting so far. How do you feel it's been going?
It's been a good series. I think the Aussies have come out really hard, playing quite fast, aggressive hockey. I think our guys have also stepped up to the platform. I know we haven't played together for a while, actually for a long time, and I think the guys have stepped up. We played some really good hockey at stages. A few things we need to work on, but yeah, excited for the rest of the series.
I definitely agree with you on that. The boys have been playing really well against the Australians. I think they expected to be maybe a little bit in the advantage here, but you guys have capitalised. With one game to go in the series, all level, how do you feel the next game is going to go?
I think it's going to be quite a fast-paced, aggressive game. I think the guys are going to come out hard from both sides. Obviously, it's the game, make or break. Whoever wins this game wins the series. But I don't think we're going to change anything. Just keep it simple, play basic hockey, and yeah, come out, try our best, give 150%.
Thanks, Matt. All the best for the game, and we'll be grateful to watch you win.
Thank you.
So there we have it from Matt Dewar, the South African under-18 captain. He hails from East London. Again, we see some epic views of the sky here in Pietermaritzburg. It's your typical warm day it hasn't been too cold. I mean, we've spoken about other cold areas in South Africa. Just a reminder again, we are about an hour away from the boys' game that we've just chatted, and that's going to be an exciting one because that 3-all draw, 4-all draw, so very interested to see how that one's going. But before that happens, we've got another 35 minutes of the South African under-18 girls versus the Australian under-18 girls. Again, there's some tired bodies there, but you can still see a lot of intent by each team looking to go forward. Here we look at the South African lineup. Some of these players that were involved were selected a week or two ago. Robin, just we've got 35 minutes left. If you were the Australian or South African coach, besides the scoring opportunities that we've spoken about now, what other things do you reckon should be emphasized in that talk that they're busy having?
Yeah, I think maybe smarter play. It's very frantic because as soon as a team gets possession, they're giving it away again. So I think the team that can hold on to the ball for longer periods of time would control the game more. And then there's a lot of space that the Australians are giving the South African forwards to run into. So I think they need to be a little bit better in their defense. And the last point, as you mentioned, I think the games are won and lost on goals. So the forwards need to take their chances, and Australia, I think, would be beating themselves up a little bit about the short corners that they're missing. I think it's a crucial part of the game that they haven't worked on enough, and if they convert one or two of those, I think we're in for a really good second half.
At the moment, I think Jethro is on the field with Brandon Swart.
I'm here with Brandon Swart, Head of High Performance Schools in South Africa. Brandon, with the way things have worked out over the last couple of weeks, how do you think high performance is going in South Africa?
Yeah, Jet, from a school's point of view, we've put a lot of focus on high performance over the last 4 years. This is now the continuous system that we've been running, and every single year for the last 4 years we've had something on. And I think it's shown over the last 2 nights in terms of performances that we put up against the Australians. Never before have we been this competitive both in the girls and the boys sections. I mean, we've already won that girls series last night with the game to spare, and I think that speaks volumes. A couple of years ago we were just, the girls lost 3-0 in Pretoria, so to turn it around entirely, and also for the boys game to be going to the wire tonight, and we also won the boys series in 2016. So, and in fact both these teams that have played here in the last 2 nights played as under 16s against Namibia and Zimbabwe in a series. So I think that continued focus, having the squads together every single year within our HP programs worked wonders.
So I think that's exciting to see and hear, and I think what we need to see is this happening going further. Do you think there's things maybe in place to make that mutual agreement with Australia and maybe a couple of other nations?
Yeah, so there's something we're going to try and look at very hard, and Wendell Domingo spoke about this last night, is to try and create something in a Southern Africa type of format. Again, to expose more under 16s to perhaps the under 18 teams in Namibia, Zimbabwe, and some of the other hockey nations, Zambia even, on a more annual basis, to try and just ensure that our under 16s and our under 18s are getting exposed to international hockey. I think we've seen again, like I said, the proof of the pudding. So, and I think the big thing for South African hockey is to turn this sort of upward tide and revolution in schools hockey, and I think the benefit that has on the national program going forward is what we're hoping to see now.
It's very exciting, Brandon. I think we'll wait for the reward later. Thank you. Back to the studio.
Right there we heard from Brandon Swart, and head of our high performance program, and he's been around for the last 4 or 5 years, doing some really good work with his side. Just got a few more messages on our YouTube feed. Sebastian Dowd saying Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. I think there's going to be a few of those shouts if once Australia get their goals. Georgia Marie says, let's go Oz. Caitlin Barnard, number 10, keep the goals. Sue All again saying cheering for Gracie Geddes and her teammates. Very proud auntie from in Auckland, New Zealand. Caitlin Pender says go Barnard. Sebastian Dowd family staying up way past our bedtimes in Perth, Western Australia. Go Georgina, super proud. Thank you, Sebastian, for your message. Again, Wendy Geddes is so exciting. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Well done to both teams throughout this test series. Sisters Millie and Zara both watching and supporting Gracie and teammates. Go Gracie. Hashtag number 16. Love mom and dad. Ompile Modise. Uncle Dada and Uncle Baba watching the game, supporting Ontutulu Zulu. From Centurion, Pretoria, go SA Girls. So keep them coming. Thank you very much for your messages. Players appreciated. Some nice smiles there by the Australian team. I think there's some really positive vibes going on there. They look like they fired and ready to go. South African team is coming out as well. And again, we've got 35 minutes left here. With the 35 minutes left. We look at some of the Australian players. Hannah Cable's been quite a play in that midfield / shield area. Let's quickly last thoughts. We've seen would you as a coach in this time either way change things up, or would you just ask for a bit of more refinement from each team?
Yeah, I think they should change it up a little bit. I think maybe we see some half courting now. I don't think that we can full press with that intensity for another 35 minutes. So maybe a little bit more controlled with the press, and then set the space up to attack. I'd be interested to see if the coaches have got maybe some different strategies this half. But again, last 35 minutes, nothing after this. So I think the girls are going to give it everything.
Yeah, the crowds are filling again. All the players are coming back. Today was semi-final day or playoff day in the under-16 national tournament. So players are finishing their games and coming across to watch the last of this test series. It's almost sad that we only have it every 2 years. Would love to see this more often as the Europeans do it. They can easily do it because logistically things are easier to get from country to country. But we're really grateful that the Australian team can arrive. Every two is Tatum, Stewart driving into that space. A few clumsy tackles from the South Africans. Nice direct ball hitting the foot of Nasa Flynn. Kayla Duval moving forward to leave it for defenders to pick up.
See, Australia have gone to 3 at the back with an extra midfielder now, so still going with maximum pressure and trying to see if they can turn South Africa over higher in the field. South Africa doing really well just to play a mini game and control the ball. And again, there's a good pass, and it sets South Africa up to go on attack.
Oh, Angela Wellham looking for that reverse lead from the attacker. India Hardy was leading into the opposite space. But again, looking the intent there to go nice and direct, try and get the ball forward as quickly as possible. Australia with the ball up down the right hand side. Lianna Smith with the ball into Annika Tui. Annika Tui into Ruby Harris. Ruby Harris trying to look for that something, oh, and that's directly over the baseline from South Africa. Something a little bit soft. There wasn't as much pressure that you would have hoped. But again, the players that we were expecting, Ruby Harris, Annika Tui, Lianna Smith, creating those opportunities for Australia.
Yeah, that passing game I was talking about. Australia looked to pass the ball, and it looks great when it works. And they've won a PC. So again, as I said, got to try and convert 1 or 2 of these and try get up in the series or in the game.
Hannah Cable with a signature step towards the ball.
Good push, good stop, and a flick that saved over the crossbar. Really well done there.
Some good pace behind that by Tatum Stewart. From Fairholme College, we haven't had any messages from anybody from Fairholme College. So if there's anybody from any of the schools, from any of the teams that we have here, please send it through. Let us know where you're watching from. Again, another ball into Annika Tui. Just not enough pace behind that ball.
Yeah, so good injection there. The drag flick's got lots of time to get the flick off, and a good save over the crossbar. I would like to see those flicks maybe a little bit lower. I think it's quite easy to save in that kind of area. But again, well defended by South Africa.
And Australia have the ball deep in their own half.
Nice high press from South Africa this deep in the half, and Australia resort to the overhead. South Africa step and win the ball, and now it gives a good opportunity to counter off this platform.
Samantha Smuts on the ball.
Nice to see South Africa trying to keep possession here. They've just got to keep passing the ball. It's worked out well for them, keeping some possession and trying to attack a different channel on the field.
And there we go. You see from the right hand side, just played the ball into midfield, a little midfield transfer. Something we haven't seen too much of, but it's really good to see that they can adjust throughout the game and be as flexible as possible. See Jean-Louis du Toit, also a little bit of a, that's been a trademark of her game, that little fake slap into that diagonal fake slap that she's done quite effectively at school level.
Yeah, very effective, that disguise slap. Just can't always do it like there again. So we should also try and maybe attack the deeper pockets instead of trying to only go to the top of the circle. But nice possession here for South Africa, and let's see if they can get some attacking going. And as I say that, Australia get the ball and off they go. So
what is that commentator's
game
curse?
of chess. Yeah, absolutely.
Another aerial ball that was deemed dangerous by the umpire, so there will be a free hit inside the, it was outside the 25. Kayla de Waal looking for options. Again, Grace Young putting under a lot of pressure in that space. Again, Tatum Stewart, I chatted about this at the start. She's found herself in really good areas inside the defensive half, and also when she's in those areas, she's put under a great overhead into India Draper. Unfortunately, couldn't trap it. But Tatum Stewart's been quite clinical as a defender in that area, picking up balls, picking up the scrap balls, if you can say, and finding herself in the right position all the time during this game.
Yeah, she's been playing a lot as the free centre back, and I think that's your role, is just to try clean up and assist the marking defenders in making sure that you get the ball out of there. So she's played that role really well, and it's helped Australia just keep South Africa out the circle.
Again, Abby O'Brien and India Draper working hard together, hunting in packs, especially with a player like Kayla de Waal on the ball. Francisca Darko with the ball down the line. Unfortunately not finding a South African stick. Back 16. Catherine Dowling asking for the ball. Again, staying with their 3 at the back.
That's nice, good pressure from South Africa there. Really well done, and I like that running press. I think they weren't doing that in the first half, so I think that's a clear change from Lenice. It's just to be a little bit more patient. Once the ball's moved, apply a running press, and nearly worked for South Africa there. Be good to see if they can get it right once or twice this off.
And it's something that we've chatted about quite a bit, not necessarily in the press, but timing. Whether it's a press, whether it's a pass, whether it's and it's something that at an international level, because the pace is higher and the game is at a faster speed, it becomes really, really crucial. Again, India Draper really getting stuck into those defenders, trying to win that ball, making herself quite a bit of a hassle for the South Africans up front over there.
Yeah, for this phase of the game, I think South Africa are really staying in that same channel the whole time and trying to force it. And again, when they did move the ball around a little bit in the midfield, it was quite effective. So hoping to see them just keep possession a little bit more instead of trying to slap it for the long ball. But yeah, they have possession and they win a free hit. So I think this is a good opportunity to build up the play now. Another long ball. Edith's on it. And it's a one-on-one battle now. Edith in the circle. Let's see what she can do. She wins the short corner for South Africa. Again, the long ball, so a clear tactic. Edith in good position there. And that's where she's really good, is to get that outcome in the circle.
It's again a player that is featuring in your South African under-21 plans, and a player that you cannot give the space that she was given to over there, because you can see as soon as she gets into that circle, she's either going to get that penalty corner or she's going to find a teammate or get the shot on target.
Yeah, that's her role within the team, and great there for the short corner, and let's hope South Africa could execute this well and go 1-0 up. Australia defense ready there. Good push, good trap. A great slap into the corner. There's that disguised slap you were talking about. And Jean-Lee de Toy there just absolutely rocketing that ball past the keeper. Great defensive skill to slap the ball, and great to see you use it in the short corner and play towards your strengths.
And sometimes also difficult, because that fake slap, you don't actually know what direction that ball's going, because if we look at this replay, her wrists move so quickly that is it going to the right hand side of the keeper? Is it going to the left? So really good goal from South Africa, and taking their chance. 1-0 up.
Well executed, and put South Africa 1-0 up, and I think now just need to relax a little bit and just keep moving the ball and play. But great to see.
And there you would have seen on that replay the two directions that the ball takes when you play that, and I think that's something that could have definitely played a role in making the save, and that's why you say that's, as you mentioned, becomes so effective. Well, as we mentioned that, Australia got the ball and attacked straight away. Ball then went over the baseline with South Africa, got a 16. And now Australia on the counter. Annika Tui inside the circle, shot at goal. Keeper making a save. And South Africa looking to clear it again. Australia showing intent again. As soon as they go 1-0 down, trying straight away to try and get that equaliser.
Yeah, well, now the pressure needs to be there, and they need to try and force the mistakes from South Africa just to try and put that pressure on. So South Africa need to change the channel. As you can see, South Africa and Australia are really putting a high press on them, and that overhead really is a good option, or attacking the other side of the field. So great to see South Africa now get the ball on a counter. There's 2 free goals in the circle, just unable to link up there, but Australia are really going to need to focus on marking those players a little bit better. Giving that kind of space to these forwards from South Africa are going to cause some problems for Australia.
And also I think it's that defense on counter-attack, losing the ball and finding the right position straight away to get into, and I think that's something. If we look at those goals that South Africa scored, a lot of those were from that counter-attack defense that Australia haven't really dealt with that well.
Yeah, I think they're not looking after the most dangerous player on attack, and that's giving South Africa easier options to run into the circle. But take nothing away, South Africa's transition from when they don't have the ball to their attack is really quick, and the forwards are looking for that. So really good from South Africa's attackers just to transition and take the attack to the Australians.
They mentioned, pardon me, Hannah Cable that came in. Again, putting them under defense. Again, there's moments from both South Africa and Australia where putting the teams under pressure quite a bit. And then we see Gracie Young just unfortunately not controlling the ball. But again, straight away losing it and straight away winning the ball. And that's what we spoke about. Look at the pace shown in midfield. Looking to find that person. Again, missed pass straight onto it again. And she's really looking hard to work that ball as soon as she's lost it.
Oh, that's a great ball through to the top D there. Australia just being patient, just holding it. Not necessarily forcing it in there, and the South African defense are just managing their person, and really good clearance there. Australia back on attack, and as you can see, Australia only have one thing in mind, and that's just to try and hit the top circle as quick as possible. So South Africa are marking well, and they just need to be calm and make those tackles.
Seeing Ruby Harris driving into that circle. She'll be looking for that foot or any infringement from the defender. Again, South Africa just finding that foot so they can now clear the danger and release some of the pressure. But again, you see Australia gets still straight right up there. Penalty corner thrown into a crowded area. Ball goes to Australia. And just they keep rolling those substitutions. Tatum Stewart back onto the field. Umpire asking that the ball be taken on the correct spot.
See South Africa more in a bit of a half-court press and a bit more patient now. As you can see, just shuffling across, not necessarily such high pressure. As I said, it wouldn't be able to last the whole game. And it's good to see them just controlling a press there and making it difficult for Australia to now find those passes that they're looking for.
Captain Jade Smith, number 13, finding herself on that right-hand midfield channel. Australia transferring it to their left-hand side.
Good example there of the press. South Africa got them to move to the other side of the field. They came across nice and aggressively and won the ball. So a very different tactic, as we said, and the half-court press working for South Africa there.
Oh, that's a bit of a miscued aerial ball and unfortunately a mistrap.
Yeah, it looks like your golf shot, AJ. A little bit of a duck hook there.
Now, the only way if it was my golf shot is if I hit the ball first, though.
So I'd like to see South Africa maybe throwing a little fewer aerials. They need to keep the ball and actually play some hockey. Every time they throw the ball, I think Australia have the opportunity to get the possession back. And I think we're good enough to try and keep the ball at the back and move the ball rather than throwing it away. So I think the coach's message would probably get onto the field to say keep possession a bit more.
I don't know how many times we've said that already, but again, Grace Young being really, really good. What do we call that? So much like a steam engine type work in that midfield. It just keeps plugging away, winning the ball in midfield, going on the counter-attack, finding some players. Lianna Smith then doing some repair work for Australia at the back.
Good pressure. Well done, and as you say, I'd love to see her stats on her mileage as she racks up per game. She's definitely working hard in the midfield. Oh, there's a overhead that hasn't been thrown properly. South Africa again, one-on-one in the circle. Can she find the pass? No. Shot on target and a good save from the keeper, but South Africa always dangerous on that counter.
Samkita Weston driving into the circle. Just no advantage from the first infringement, just outside the circle. And there we see Lianna Smith, also known as Angie, also doing a lot of leg work inside that midfield for Australia, the Australian engine room, as we'd like to call it. Jacqueline McLaren.
Well done by South Africa there. Jacqueline there, just driving into the circle, finding that foot calmly on the baseline, and really, really clever. So AJ, what do you think? Would you change the call for the short corner?
I think maybe if you do change it, I think maybe you can still go with Jean-Lee du Toit, but maybe a slip to her on the one side. I think they might have both bases covered now. But if the push and stop is hard enough and you've got two players running on that baseline, I think you can keep it the same.
Yeah, the way they've set up here, it looks like there could be 2 goals going in for a deflection. But she's on the top again, and let's see if she can give this one in. Oh, she goes for the drag flick over the crossbar, and great to see the variation between the slap and the drag flick. But obviously, non-negotiable, got to hit that target on your short corner.
But again, some good versatility. Here we see the replay come in. And I think also, as you see the stop had to move slightly to her left, so maybe that angle that she then had was obviously if it was stopped on top D, they would have had an opportunity for her to have a shot directly at goal. I mean, minor things that I'm mentioning here, but again, the small things at international level that could make a difference.
Absolutely, AJ. But the flickers always blame the stoppers.
And the stoppers blame the pushers.
That's correct.
And then after that, the pushers just looking at the turf at the bottom to find out what's wrong.
That's it. But I mean, she got the flick off, and I think just focusing on that target forces the keeper to make a save and get that rebound. So maybe a missed opportunity from South Africa. But but really good that they're trying to get outcomes within the circle.
Here you go, ball inside the circle, keeper making a save. And I think it's Jean-Louis du Toit clearing that ball out on the side again. Australia with gaining some momentum here. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, there's about 18 minutes left in the game. South Africa leading 1-0. Australia looking to get that first win in the series. There's a Facebook message that came in from Anton D'Souza. Thank you very much, Anton. Great goal. Keep going, SA. Ball inside the circle. That's Annika Tui working hard to get it.
Nice, solid defense there. Really controlling her area and just making sure that the Australians don't take that space. Lovely defensive work. And when you're 1-0 up, those are the kind of tackles that you need just to keep you in the game.
So South Africa limiting the amount of space Australia has inside that D. Tatum Stewart with the ball down the right-hand side, feeds it down the right-hand side channel. Lots of movement in up front for the Australians to try and get the ball played down the right-hand side and gone over the baseline for a 16-yard hit to South Africa. Jean-Louis to Toit back on the ball. Again, we see a high press again from Australia, trying to win that ball.
Another overhead, and it works this time. Bianca, this is where she's most dangerous. One-on-one with the last defender. She just can't manage to get into the circle. She gets it back again and wins a short corner. And that's the danger of Bianca Wood. She just doesn't stop when the ball's on her stick. Very difficult to tackle. Again, another overhead option, but it seemed to have worked. And another chance here for South Africa with a short corner.
Here we see ball unfortunately not dealt with. Bianca Wood's driving inside the circle. As she moves in, win the ball on the first tackle, she wins it back, and then there were two sticks that came in, deemed a foul from the umpire inside the circle. Well dealt with by the Australians again. Another looking like a little slap to far post. Funnily enough, Jean-Louis du Toit was on the field, but she wasn't on the top castle. Edith then managing it with the first wave, running that one down quite quickly. Another ball over the baseline. Again, some intent now showing by the Australians. They want to try and get forward as quickly as possible. There's still 15 minutes, lots of time in this game. When you're down, 15 minutes goes by really quickly. When you're ahead and defending, 15 minutes takes ages to go by.
Absolutely. I think South Africa are going to be counting that clock down, but they just need to keep doing the hard work. They're doing really nicely going forward, defensively, making great tackles. And I think they need to seal out the game just by keeping the intensity on the field. Australia are going to have to throw something at it here. You might even see them go with a kicking back or potentially even an extra forward up front just to try and chase the game a little bit more. But yeah, they go on an attack on the right-hand side. Some lovely skills going around the outside and keeps the ball. Again, great body position in the circle, and those are the kinds of moments that keep you in the game.
And I think for Australia, their build-up is really good. They're finding the right areas. I think it's just that last pass connection inside the 25, inside the circle. Nasa Flynn, who also one of those forwards that causing a lot of problems down that right-hand side. Lianna Smith on the ball at the moment, releasing to her outside back. Naomi Duncan from New South Wales. Gracie Geddes on the ball at the moment. South Africa doing some good defensive work in that area.
Kayla on the ball, fighting Bianca Wood, nice and high again, cutting inside, and as I said, this is the danger. She keeps the ball, she's inside the circle. Can she find a pass? Oh, lovely hands, lovely skill, and Bianca Wood puts the ball in the goal. Lovely individual moment there, and well done to Bianca, thoroughly deserved goal.
Again, we see that moments of brilliance that have come by. Bianca Wood, play of the match in the first game, and she showed again why she deserves to be in this team, why she's one of the top strikers in the country. And again, silky skills through midfield, through top D. As we see the replay again, ball coming through, winning it, cutting on the inside.
Yeah, some 3D skills there. As you can see, it's loose skills, but it's still under control. In the circle, she's already won the short corner. Great advantage from the umpire there, and moves around the keeper and scores a goal. Really, really effective and well done.
South Africa take a 2-0 lead, which at the moment looks like a mountain for the Australian to come by, but like we said, there's 13 minutes left. If there's one team that can look at 2-0 and say, let's go, it's going to be the Australians. We know that they're going to bring the intensity, and 13 minutes, a lot can happen. South Africa shouldn't. With that 2-0 trap is something that they're definitely going to be wary of, and something that they definitely can't sit back and defend this. Tatum Stewart looking to work the ball down that right-hand side channel. Here we see it again from a different angle. Bianca Wood driving some little bit of aerial skills there. Advantage for the tackle. Again, finding it, she's trying to get it into a strong position. She does, beats the one attacker. Keeper's forced to come out, has to come out in that situation, and she slots the ball in that bottom left corner, which she seems to be liking this this week.
Yeah, that's a goal to remember. Eh? When you're playing for your country and you do something like that, that's a special moment. She'll definitely be posting that one on social media soon.
Another aerial ball out by South Africa. Talisha Kante picking it up and looking to try and release that ball. Amara Hendricks, who we actually haven't seen much of in this game, picking up the ball in midfield. She's a product of Herschel Girls as well, but now applying a trade at Stellenbosch University.
There we go, South Africa on another attack again. Individual moment and a short corner one. But definitely a trend that we've seen. Australia's defense just not managing with the pace and the skills from South Africa, and causing all sorts of problems. Another short corner for South Africa, and this one would really hurt if it goes in.
Yeah. I think Karen Smith on Facebook saying, amazing goal, Bianca Woods. Thanks for the coverage, SSL. Thank you, Karen Smith. Tom Shields saying, go Amara, we just spoke about. Support here from Cape Town. Thank you, Tom Shields, for your comment. Dak Vox, which must be his online name. Let's go Aussies. No mountain is too high. We know that from any sporting game. Proud of you. Thank you very much for your comment on our YouTube coverage.
South Africa just with a mistrap there. Oh, really good to keep the possession of the ball, and cleared out by Australia. Some more pressure there, and I think now Australia really just need to be defensively sound. Don't give any of those soft outcomes in the circle, and look to get to the other side of the field.
Again, they got to stick to that. They got to stick to that structure that worked for them, that got them up to the circle. They just got to keep plugging away and hope for the best up front.
Again, a nice calm outlet from Australia, but South Africa turn it over again. There's a poor tackle again from Australia, and it's really letting them down, those kinds of tackles. South Africa really putting Australia under pressure, and again, the right person on the ball. Kayla over there looks for the ball wide. Lovely ball. Another circle entry for South Africa, and just deflected over. But as you can see, overlapping right half from South Africa there, and really just adding the numbers in attack, and Australia aren't reacting to it quick enough.
Oh, unfortunately, a swing off the ball. Amara looks like she's fine. It's just one of those things that happens. She looks like she's got a little smile on her face. We're glad to see that. Free it now out to South Africa. She's just stopped Amara. It's just gonna head off and just get a little drink of water, just get a little bit of treatment. But we saw a smile in her face, so we're happy to see that she's okay.
Australia back on the press there. Really good press from Australia, putting some pressure on the outlet from South Africa. There they've won a hit, and off they go again. Just the intensity of the Australians. They don't stop running. They're just always prepared to go forward.
See Jade Smith trying to win the ball, and again, Grace Young, number 15 we've spoken about, trying to find again, they're trying to find those numbers inside the circle. As you can see, they've got numbers there. South Africa trying to put their whole team behind the ball.
And here's a good example of the overlapping left half from Australia. So they're also using their defenders to come through the lines and add value in attack. Now they're patient, moving the ball. And this is what I mean when Australia really keep the ball. Look at that pass. That's the left half again, keeping the ball. And their build-up is superb. They just keep possession and look for that right moment to try and get into the circle. South Africa standing strong there. Unlucky fall. And again, Australia, good moment here for Australia just to get back into the game.
We've got 9 minutes to go. There's still lots of time to get those 3 goals back for Australia. Hannah Cable on the ball at the moment, distributing wide. There's a few touches. Gracie Geddes on the right hand flank over there, looking to work that ball down the right hand side, which has been the side. Missed tackle from Edith. Umpire Melissa Taylor deeming that a foul. She's got the green card. 2 minutes she'll be spending on the side. Again, opportunity now for Australia with a man down for the next 2 minutes to try and get that goal, 1 goal or even 2 goals back.
Yeah, this is where they should throw some people into the circle there. They've got 2 minutes now to really use that extra number and see if they can get an outcome in the circle.
So Nolo Polo, our South African under our coach that's going to the Fives tournament in a few days' time. The future is bright for South African hockey. Exciting group of players. # Coach Polo. Thank you, Polo, for your message on Facebook. Polo also one of our top coaches in South Africa, looking after some of our national teams as well, some of the teams at the PHL, which we'll chat about a little bit later. We've got good steal just above, just on top tee. And again, lots of pressure from the Australians, showing that intent and fighting all the way through. South Africa now with the ball down the right-hand side. Another win.
And South Africa a little bit loose here. They, as you can see, Australia putting so much pressure on them. They're not giving South Africa time on the ball. And South Africa just need to complete their passes. There we go, that's a little bit better, and a missed pass again. So this pressure Australia's putting on in these last couple of minutes are really forcing South Africa just to make some mistakes.
There on the screen you had Grace Young. We chatted about it earlier. We'd love to know the amount of kilometers or miles that she's done this week. There she goes again, putting Julia Hall under pressure. Again, South Africa, ball in the open space. Julia, somehow she got to that ball. Keeper still dealt with it. Keeper still dealt.
Sorry, and good defense there. The Australian goal tracked her all the way back from both sides. The attack and defense can't fault that effort.
Yeah, really good hockey all around there. You see Jade Smith, the skipper, driving through, getting the free hit. Umpire not happy with where the ball's being taken, playing it back. Happy now. Now again, opportunity. Still, South Africa still a man down. Australia really looking to move the ball around. And Ontatili winning that ball, that diagonal ball.
That's worked out for South Africa. Edith's back on the field, back to 11 numbers, and they almost used her with a counter. But again, Australia just using the outside channels now, not being as direct through the top of the circle. And it seems to be working. They're causing some problems going through the width rather than the top.
Abby O'Brien asking if the ball is on the correct spot. She's going to try and move this 5 and then get that ball in as soon as she can. Inside to Ruby Harris. Abby O'Brien again on the ball. And a mistimed tackle there by, I think it was Angela Wellham, but remain to be corrected there.
Yes. Australia patient in their build-up again. As I said, using the width, really trying to get to that T-point, which is where the circle meets the baseline. We call it at the team point, and really trying to use that area to try and get into the circle. There's another circle entry for Australia and dealt with by South Africa.
Another aerial ball to one of the South Africans, and mischap picked up by Naomi Duncan. A really good turn infield there. We were chatting with skipper Jade Smith. The lovely ball to Abby O'Brien across the field. 45 direct ball in. And that's Annie Katui found the phone. Finding Annie Katui got the first goal of the week. And finding a little hit outside. Lianna Smith on the ball. And Naomi Duncan. Nice little inside trap, unfortunately losing her footing in that far corner. Kayla de Waal on the ball now.
A lovely inside pull. And South Africa on the attack, after absorbing a lot of pressure, trying to just get the ball on the other side of the field, and you can see some tired legs. Maybe the leads aren't as effective as they were earlier, but a really good passage of play from Australia there, and well dealt with by South Africa on defending.
And as we move to just over 4 minutes to go, there's been a lot of players that have stood out in this game, but there's one name that we mentioned the whole game, and we've also mentioned a name throughout the week. So player of the match for test match number 3 goes to number 15, Grace Young, who has really worked really hard that midfield engine, if we'd like to call it. We'd like to congratulate Grace Young for player of the match for match number 3. Well deserved. Congrats, Grace.
Yeah, I mean, she's been superb for Australia, and I look forward to seeing her coming through the ranks. I think she's going to be a really great player for Australia.
Yeah, and I think anybody watching this will think that that's a name that's going to pop up in future, and don't forget that name, because I think we'll see. There we go, Grace Young, number 15. You can see working really hard. And she's just constantly on attack, defense. Once she's lost the ball, she worked back to win the ball, and she's really done well, done well today for her team.
Oh, really good defense there from Australia. Edith trying to go on her own, and the Australian defense really good there.
Yeah, Lianna Smith, also another midfielder that's worked really hard up front and done a lot of work in midfield as one of those screens that they used. Again, Australia defending well in that top area. Again, here we spoke about Lianna Smith on the ball. Verstic played down the line, and Ikatui on the ball in that left-hand channel, looking for somebody up ahead he can find.
Great transfer there from the left channel to the right. They keep it going. It's an overlapping right half looking for her, and nice to see that they're really trying to overlap on the outside.
We see there Paula O'Brien telling us that it's Abby O'Brien's birthday today. So congratulations, Abby. Happy birthday, Abby O'Brien. Hashtag number 17. Very proud mom, dad, and brother. Hashtag SSL Hockey. Thank you very much for the message, and a big happy birthday to Abby. Player number 17, if you see her. So congratulations to her on her birthday today. And what a nice country to spend her birthday in.
Yeah, I could think of worse things to do on your birthday.
2 minutes to go in the series. South Africa lead 2-0.
So 2-0 with 1 minute and 50 seconds to go. Australia keep on plugging away through. Ruby Harris, another ball inside into the circle. South Africa clearing. Samantha Smuts on the ball now. Again, 2 people on the... Again, there we see Tatum Stewart picking up the ball. And some good defense again. Some intent. There we see Grace Young again. Player of the match. I think there's a lot of South Africans that were a bit worried when she got the ball because she didn't stop running. Lots of work in that midfield. And again, you think about it as well. I mean, this whole Australian team has put some really good legs on. I mean, a lot of younger players in the side compared to the players that they're playing against, and some really hard work done by the side. So I think they can all be proud of a great effort put in throughout these 3 matches.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've learnt and they've played some international hockey, and it's just great for both sides to experience what it takes to actually play at international hockey. Great defense there, and Australia keep passing the ball. As you can see, they just try to complete those passes, win the midfield battle, and they've really finished off strongly here. Another last attack there on the left-hand side. Another circle entry from Australia. Can they get an outcome? Good save from the keeper, and defensive play out the to the sideline.
We've got 23 seconds left on the stadium clock. Again, trying to get that ball in as quickly as possible, getting it straight in. Unfortunately, a mistrap inside that circle. Again, you can see the look on this face. A lot of those players are really tired. They've put a lot of work in. 3 days of international hockey, 35 minutes aside, 70 minutes per day. It's been hard work, including those training sessions as well. Pick up there. Ball straight in the circle, and the siren goes, and 2-0 to South Africa, 3-0 series victory And I have no doubt that anybody can agree that was watching the last 3 games that these 3 games have been really, really good to watch. Exciting hockey. The effort that every single player on that field has put out for their country, it's been really good to see. And that's what you want from players that are playing with a national badge on their chest.
Yeah, what an experience, and both sides can be really happy that they've had this opportunity to play. Well done to the South African ladies and Lenice and the coaching staff and management. Great to see South Africa on the top, and the future is bright. These players have done really well, and I look forward to seeing them grow wherever they go to universities or where they play next. But really, really exciting to watch.
And also something that that's going to transcend from this is the friendships that are created between us. I was sitting in the dugout during their warm-up, and the players were having a little bit of banter with each other, making jokes between the South African and the Australian team, and it was really good to see that friendship was coming through.
Yeah, isn't that what sport's about?
Exactly.
I mean, making friends for life, and that's what hockey and sport can give you.
We're about to cross down to the field where our man of the match, Grace Young, that I think all of us. So we'll continue changing. Just quickly, let's just go through some of the highlights. There's that fake slap. As you can see, that ball coming twice. 2-touch off the stick. Good goal there by John-Lee du Toit. And that fake slap was very difficult. And here we see, again, the pickup from Bianca Woods inside. Some aerial skills. Trying to get the ball into a good position. Beating the first attacker. Keeper will unfortunately had to come out. Tatum Stewart trying to do as much as she can to try and get that ball out of the circle. But there we see Grace Young receiving her Man of the Match award. Well deserved. And a really, really good effort by her throughout the game. And like we said, that's a name that we're going to hear quite often. There's Lenice Marais chatting to her South African team. There's a lot of happy players there, and also a lot of happy coaching staff, because a lot of boxes would be ticked. And just before we go, we see the Australian team going over to their supporters, getting out those Instagram posts, and just cherishing this moment where they've spent the last couple of days in South Africa. You've spent a lot of time as overseas tours. Just go through playing in another country for quite a bit of time.
Yeah, it's always special. You get to see a different country, you get to see a different culture. You learn a lot about yourself and your teammates on tour. And for Australia, this will be a great learning curve. They are younger, and I look forward to seeing what they under-21s. A lot of these girls will go to the next under-21 World Cup, and it'll be interesting to see how they develop as a country in their junior ranks, and likewise ours. A lot of our players will be going to the under-21 World Cup. And really exciting to see that we can mix it up with the likes of Australia, and great that Australia have come through, and I hope they've loved their time in South Africa.
And I think just on that, we always, around the world, we always look up to the Australians because of their structures within their school sport, within their high national sport. So that's always something that you'll learn from, something that they rely on quite a bit. But again, ladies, here we see the South African team that a historic 3-0 series victory over Australia. First time that it's ever happened. The successful goals that we'll see on that field. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure looking after you from Rob van Kinkel and myself, AJ Speringzoek. Wherever in the world you've been watching us, thank you very much for tuning in. And until next time, goodbye.
Absolutely. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the men's game.
Yeah, cheers. Keep well, everyone, and it was good keeping you company for the last 3 days.